At this point, the mystique around this car is undeniable. From an animated TV series to the professional levels of the Japanese drift circuit, it is both a legend and a myth. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sean, and today we are talking about the Toyota AE86. You guys have been leaving comments about this one for months, so let's talk about it. It's hard to know what modern racing would look like without the influence of the Japanese drift scene, and specifically this one little car called the Hachiroku. With its small 4-cylinder engine, it would be overlooked at every turn, but it would soon be recognized as one of the most iconic Japanese sports cars of all time. Now, before we get into the details, go ahead and drop me a thumbs up down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the new car content. Now, let's jump into it. I've already gone over a bunch of the history of Toyota itself in my 2JZ video, so if you want to see that, you can click the link right here. The first generation Toyota Corolla was introduced in November of 1966 with an 1100cc pushrod engine. And the first Corolla Sprinter was introduced in 1968 with a little bit of fastback flair. In 1970, the second generation was released with a slightly rounder body. At this time, the Corolla and the Sprinter were actually their own independent models, and in 1972, they were each given their own sport trim levels. The Corolla, being the coupe model, got the Levin trim, and the Sprinter got the Tirreno sport trim. These new sportier trims came with a dual overhead cam version of the 2T engine, making about 120 horsepower. The release of the third generation in 1974 would see both models get bigger and heavier, and the fourth generation would see a shift in style to the more square, boxy design. But it wasn't until the fifth generation came along that things would get interesting. This generation is the one that we all know of, but it's actually one specific trim level of the fifth gen that we're really talking about. This generation of the Corolla continued with the boxy style of the former, but the AE85 and the AE86 trim levels were really the stars of the show. As the previous generations had all converted to the front engine, front wheel drive configuration, the AE series would actually maintain their rear wheel drive layout. While the 86 was designed for performance, the 85 was actually designed to be the more economic model, and they differ mostly in their engine. The 85 came with the 1.5 liter 3A series engine, making about 85 horsepower. Being designed for performance, the 86 came with a handful of goodies to get your blood pumping. The Levin and the Tirreno were both offered with the 4A GE, a fuel-injected, dual overhead cam, 16-valve inline 4-cylinder making 128 horsepower and 110 foot-pounds of torque. Also, the 86 offered a 5-speed manual McPherson strut front suspension and a perfect 50-50 weight distribution, and the thing only weighed 2,300 pounds. This meant that once this thing got up to speed, it was an absolute ripper. The 86 also had a live rear axle, meaning that both wheels were connected by essentially just a single beam. This resulted in being able to get the car sideways quite easily, and almost by default, all things considered. Now, this car would go on to win races in everything from the World Rally stage to the British Touring Car Championship. Its lightweight and superb handling would inevitably lead to the 86 winning the BTCC in both 1986 and 1987, in addition to taking the Manufacturers' Championship in the European touring car circuit in the first year, beating out the likes of BMW, Volvo, Mazda, and Mercedes with 267 points for the season. Although the 86 had success all over the world in various types of motorsport, it is best known for the sport of drifting, mostly thanks to one man.
When I was racing, everybody knew that I would win.
Now, Keiichi Tsuchiya didn't start out as a professional racer. Oh no, he started out just like you and me, an enthusiast who spent his free time driving his personal AE86 down the mountain roads of Japan. He was basically unbeatable, and he quickly gained a huge following in the underground drift scene. He even earned himself a fancy nickname,
Drift King.
But would all of this experience racing down the public streets of Japan's Toge translate to good performance on the track? Yes. Yes, it would. He quickly got sponsored to race and would go on to win events in the Japanese Formula 3 Championship, the Japanese Touring Car Championship, and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Thanks to the front-engine rear-wheel drive setup, this car was already in the making to be a great beginner drift car. The 4A GE was a marvel for its generation, and it was easily tunable, so the low peak horsepower figure didn't dissuade people from going after this light and super fun chassis. The live rear axle, the smartly designed McPherson front suspension, and the perfect weight balance meant that people started to choose the 86 for drifting competition over other cars available at the time. Now let's get into the main reason why there is so much hype around this car.
Initial D.
Initial D follows the story of 18-year-old Takumi Fujiwara. His family runs a tofu shop, and Takumi uses his dad's Toyota AE86 to make the deliveries. He develops his driving skills as a delivery boy, and soon enough his friends introduce him to the world of toge drifting. When a highly experienced racing team known as the Red Suns challenges the local speed stars to a set of races, the local group quickly found themselves looking for a lead driver. They go out and try to recruit Takumi's dad, who initially refuses, and he would then offer the opportunity to his son. Takumi ends up winning the race in stunning fashion, setting himself up as the de facto man to beat in the legendary 8.6 of Akina. The series would go on to have battles and hard-fought races featuring all of the iconic JDM legends of the 90s. FDRX7s, Mitsubishi Evos, S2000s, and many more would be displayed as Takumi continued to win races in underdog, superhero, clutch fashion that only anime can provide. But that's enough for the nostalgia. Let's talk about if this car is actually any good and if you should try to get your hands on one. The AE86 represents everything that the late 80s of Japanese sports cars were all about. Lightweight, perfectly balanced, manual transmission four-bangers that anybody could get a hold of and have a ton of fun with. At the end of the day, even the highest level trim packages came with engines with only 120 horsepower because these cars were never intended to be super fast track monsters. It's a platform that gives you the opportunity to have fun for a reasonable price with room to tune, modify, and develop your driving skills. Speaking of reasonably priced, these cars are anything but. The drift tax on these cars is real, and it's hard to find even the base models that don't have the 4AGE engine for less than 10 grand these days. And if you really want to import a right-hand drive Sprinter Terreno GTS hatchback like in Initial D in good condition with low miles, you're looking at $25,000 or probably even more. With more people than ever getting into cars, and especially the JDM classics, it's becoming more difficult and more expensive to find the right car for the right price. But if you can get your hands on one, you'll have one of the most iconic JDM legends that can still keep up on a tight track or a mountain back road. So that is going to wrap it up for this one, guys. Leave me a comment down below your thoughts on the AE86 and the 4AGE engine. Also, let me know what car, engine, or automotive tech you guys want me to talk about next. If you enjoyed this video, then leave it a thumbs up down below. It really helps to grow the channel. If you want to see more automotive content like this, or if you want to follow my K-Swap Subaru BRZ build, then subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out, and we'll see you guys on the next one.